This is TWiT.
I put in the story about the bot farms that were shut down in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And the great thing about it is pictures of the racks used to create all the different identities to go spin off and other things. 10,000 SIM cards, 100 sets of GSM gateways. All this was just to spam us.
Yeah. Well, and in fact, that's used in Florida as well. I mean, it's used all over the world. These spam farms in Asia too. Here's some of the pictures. These are almost 10,000 SIMs of various operators. The idea being, it looks like these are genuine users. It's been used for click fraud in advertising. I guess this was for disinformation. I don't know what they were.
I would assume so.
Yeah. The bot farms operated in Kharkiv, Cherkasy, Ternopil, Poltava, Zakarpattia regions. Fake accounts. They would use these to create fake accounts on social media.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And then post fake news about the Russian war.
I think I've known a few of them.
I wonder, Joan, if this, how new is this phenomenon? Is social media really allowing, this has kind of been something poor Jeff has to hear me say all the time, allowing this to be weaponized.
Yeah, we've been here. If you look at the sort of now canonical case of the Russian Internet Research Agency, when they were creating fake accounts, it was, some of them were originally lifestyle accounts, things that were, on Twitter that were very spammy until they were turned into, mostly anti-Dem or anti-Hillary accounts. They weren't exactly pro-Trump. And so, we've seen this happen time and time again. We were also looking at a bunch of Facebook pages that were being operated and were selling identities to support the convoy protests that were happening in Ottawa, and then started to roll out in the US, and there was nobody really paid any attention to it, but there were a couple of convoy protests in DC over the past few weeks. But it's just part of the nature of the design of these platforms themselves is this, engagement farming and building out these fake profiles, because the goal here is to have an impact on the algorithm, not just an impact on public conversation, but you want to be able to put information out there and then have it be discoverable. And so it's like, if a single person tweets and nobody retweets it, and, did anybody really see it? And so having a bot network or fake influencers or fake accounts that follow you, that job is to reshare that information. It's just part of the industry. It's part of social media's, it's just what it is social
it's a communications medium. Mm-hmm. And of course, whatever the communications medium, you're going to use it. And if it's, more friction free, you're going to use it more. It's easier to take advantage of. Not all disinformation comes from Russia, surprisingly. Facebook, for instance, paid a firm called Targeted Victory to push the message that TikTok was bad for kids.
How stupid can you be?
Employees from the firm Targeted Victory worked to undermine TikTok through a nationwide media and lobbying campaign, portraying TikTok, which was an existential threat to Facebook, I guess, as a danger to American children and society. This is according to the Washington Post, which saw internal emails to this effect. Here's one quote. Quote, "Get the message out that while Meta is the current punching bag, TikTok is the real threat, especially as a foreign-owned app that is #1 in sharing data that young teens are using," end quote. Bonus point, here's the best one. Bonus points if we can fit this into a broader message that the current bills aren't where members of Congress should be focused. Pay no attention to that Meta problem. Look at TikTok. Yeah.
Well, this had echoes of a campaign that Facebook had also run in 2018, where they used a similar firm called Definers that had attacked Apple and Google and they had come up with some anti-Semitic messaging that also attacked George Soros. And so Facebook, in response to that New York Times story, it was a really big deal when it came out, and it was a Shira Frankel, Cecilia King piece. And so this is nothing new that Facebook has done here. This is just a different firm doing the same media.
Do you think all
crowd
companies
work.
do this? This is like
Well, they
SOP?
usually hire they create a fake organization and fund that and let that organization. Like Microsoft's been doing this for years, going after Google and company. And so it's usually they're smart enough to create a separation.
Actually,
they create the
Microsoft-
Society for Responsible Adolescents,
Microsoft did,
and give it money.
did sponsor ads and videos about Gmail Man reading your mail. So they didn't try too hard to obfuscate the source of that information.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
Targeted
what's
Victory
important-
does not deny it. They say, quote, they didn't say what they did, but we are proud of the work we've done
you can hire us
with
to go
Meta.
after your enemies too.
And Meta spokesperson Andy Stone defended the campaign, saying, quote, we believe all platforms, including TikTok, should face a level of scrutiny consistent with their growing success. TikTok says it's deeply concerned.
Well, it's hard. You're out here if you're out here as an academic, you're like, wait, we're trying to work with these companies to battle misinformation. And here they are paying PR firms to blast each other. And it's like, how do we get a handle on like authentic debate and discourse, especially if you look in that article, Taylor Lorenz and Drew Harwell do a really great job because there were a couple viral campaigns. We were sitting on a case study about the slap your teacher phenomenon. And we were just like, we just can't figure out how this thing
Where did this come from?
became so popular when it's not actually that viral. And there's a few things on TikTok and there's a few things on Facebook. And this really connected the dots for us is that there was a paid media campaign to get out that, TikTok was hosting these viral challenges and they're a threat to children. Yeah, and so it really, we were just like sitting here reading it this morning. My whole team was on Signal, just like, oh man, we can finish the case study now because we know how it became popular in the media.
Wow. So how much of moral panic is seeded in this way?
Yeah, and so we got to just be really careful when we start to read these stories, and it employs a classic media manipulation technique called trading up the chain. So it's well known. There's a really great book by Ryan Holiday called Trust Me, I'm Lying, where he's this whole chapter on describing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh
read
my
this chapter
God.
again because it'll just, but it's you plan a story in local news or blog that doesn't have a lot of oversight in terms of editorial and you get that story and that establishes the facts.
Here's
and then
a perfect-
other things can be built on
Here's
it.
a perfect example that happened in Northern California a couple of months ago. This is from Oakland's Channel 2 News.
A new video sweeping TikTok has law enforcement watching. It's the door-kicking challenge in which young people kick someone's door to the beat of a song, then run. As KTVU's Deborah Villalone reports, it's causing damage and safety concerns.
This sparked a series of
on TikTok,
of
a prank that began in college dorms.
newspaper
to the
articles in
beat of a Kesha
Petaluma.
song.
Doors are
Hard
being
hits to
damaged.
someone's door.
Plus, we're worried when this happens,
And it has
somebody's going to
spread
get
to
shot.
neighborhoods.
If you think you're being broken in on, here's the Petaluma Police Community Engagement Officer. Oh my God! This is as far as I know, was localized to our small town. I asked our 19-year-old, and I asked my son, who's a fairly well-known TikToker, "Are you aware of this challenge?" No.
No.
So Leo,
And that's
along this
it.
line,